Hello, welcome, my e-commerce friends. This was a good joke. My name is Björn Darko, and I'm working for Searchmetrics. And Searchmetrics is a software company, global operating software company here from Berlin. And I'm leading the internal consulting department called Digital Strategies Group. Today, I want to present something we were building for a big sports brand where you can actually use our keyword data to do smarter decisions in your everyday business. So my speech is called From Market to Insights to Strategy, because when we look at keyword data, we look at market as the market itself by itself, and then we pull insights out of it, and then come to a strategy which can help you to boost content and SEO. You can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. I have a digital marketing and an SEO show on IGTV. And we can start right now. So I don't know, maybe some of you are working more in the operating field, managers, doing content marketing, doing SEO, category management, and so on and so forth. Sometimes we are very isolated within our departments or within our doings. But wouldn't it be great actually to influence your company's marketing campaigns with data? Wouldn't it be great to influence your company's advertising strategy by yourself? Wouldn't it be great to tell your category manager what products to focus on? And wouldn't it be great to know exactly which technical adaptions you need to do in order to beat your e-commerce competition? So what if I tell you that you can actually use keyword data to do all of this? Because if you look at keywords, you have metrics. Hi, Norman. If you look at keywords, you also have metrics like search volume, rankings, and the CPC data, which will tell you how big the value of a keyword is. And if you look at this, you also can get a look at the market size, at the competition, at the share of voice of each and every competitor and yourself, the seasonality of keywords and searches at Google, trends, as well as the user intent. And then you're actually stepping into the field of market research. And I just wanted to tell you that market research is actually a huge industry. It's worth $46 billion, but their research actually just shows the tip of an iceberg, because they do market research based on a very small sample. So hands up, who has ever participated in a market research or has done market research by themselves? Oh, there are some. Can you come with the mic, please? This guy with the glasses. So please tell us what was needed to do by yourself at the market research.
When I was studying in Stuttgart a few years before, we had to show up on the consumer behavior. Show where we are going for shopping, what we are buying. It was a study for people who was studying in Stuttgart in Hohenheim. This is the university there, and you had to show your consumer behavior, your age, and how you are buying stuff.
How many people were involved in the market research?
About 3,000 to 5,000, I believe.
3,000 to 5,000. That's normally the case. They're even more often just 100, 250 or 600 people involved. And based on this very small samples, big brands actually do build their strategy on. And yes?
There was Amazon Gutscheine, how you call Amazon vouchers to win if you participate. So the participation was great.
Yeah?
I believe there.
And then sometimes you get contacted on the street where people actually ask you if you want to participate in something, and then they ask you, can you please click on this? Can you please tell us your opinion about that color, and so on and so forth. So why actually you should use search queries? Because they are actually the demand structure, the user demand structure. So here's what we did for the big sports brand. The foundation of this market research report was 1 million keywords clustered down in half into 70 categories, which contain 250,000 products. So we were looking at all those keywords within this e-commerce sector, which was a sports brand, skiing, running, swimming, yoga, etc., pp. As I said, clustered it. And then added metrics such as search volume, CPC, and the competition, as well as included seasonality, so where we looked at the search volumes throughout each quarter of a year, and the search intent, where the people rather want to have information about a product, or they're searching for, or they have a transactional intent where they immediately want to buy something. And we also look at the share of voice, where we look at all the competitors, their traffic index, so how much potentially traffic they can get, and the share of voice, and if they have a shopping cart or if they don't have. So meaning if they sell products or they don't sell products. And also we get a view on the total trend and total market development. So when we look at the search volume back 10 years, then you see that actually the search volume for the keyword running was growing over the 10 years significantly. So now you're asking yourself, what strategic insights can you get out of it? And I will tell you which one. So if you just think about your technical infrastructure when you come from an SEO background, then you know that you have to have a strong engine to beat your competition. So we at Searchmetrics, we do every year a so-called ranking factor study, where we look at what really good ranking e-commerce websites have in common when they rank on position 1, 2, 3, 5, up to position 10. So what we figured out at the last study is that all the e-commerce brands who are ranking very well at Google, they have a 30% larger file size, they have a 40% higher number of interactive elements on the site, they have 70% more internal links, and 99.9% of them are running on a country domain, meaning .de or .ca, .uk or .com. So if you now look at the data from this market research and you look at your competitors within the specific field, here's boxing, then you actually can say, look at the top 10 of these competitors and do your own ranking factor study where you say that their benchmark file size and buys, the benchmark is much lower. The interactive elements are much higher on your brand compared to the top 10, more internal links and so on and so forth. So you can actually look at specific things within a very small sample of your competitors, meaning the top 10. Content strategy. You have to have the right content at the right time. So, and everybody of you know that 80% of the user journey takes place in the awareness and consideration phase, and just 20% in the sales retention phase. Meaning before people are actually coming to your website to buy your stuff, they want to have information about your stuff. You don't just buy a coffee machine because you think you need a coffee machine, because you have to invest so much money, you need to know the specifics, you need to know if it's an automated coffee machine or what fits best to your needs. So what you actually need to do is you need to detect what your user's intention is when they search for a product in your market. And this actually means if you have one product, you need to focus on the top of funnel content and make them convert at the bottom. Let's take the example of running gear, running as a topic as a whole. We know that for running gear, Nike running gear, outdoor running gear, all those keywords within running gear, people are actually looking for inspiration. So when you come up with a content strategy on that place, you need to come up with titles like best running gear for beginners, or which running shoe fits best to flat feet, or running in winter, which gear should I buy? On the other hand side, if you have a keyword cluster within running, which is rather transactional, then you have to make decision-making aid for the wanters. So cheap running jackets, or buy one, get one running jacket for free, 25% discount on waterproof running jackets. So you have one, it's actually the same product, but it's different intents. And this is how you actually have to manage your content strategy in this place as well. And you also, especially when you do it for Google, you have to focus on SERP integrations. When I speak about SERP integrations, I mean, if you Google something, then you have like video carousels, you have a knowledge graph on the right, you have product listing ads, you have these answer boxes, feature snippets, and so on and so forth. So looking at the SERP features of your domain within your specific keyword set can actually help you to come up with a content strategy and the format you need to publish the content. Look at this, for example. We have a lot of videos for Runner's World within this keyword set, a lot of videos coming up for the entire keyword set with 64%, but Runner's World just have it's just covering 0.48%. So this could actually be an insight where you should produce more videos and put it on the page. But don't just look at the overall SERP features, but rather look at keyword level as well. So you can actually have in our suite, in our software, look at keyword level and then look which SERP feature integration for this specific keyword will be displayed by Google. And then you can actually look at the data, at the intent data, and can combine transactional content with informational for upsell potential. Look at this. Like ski mask and ski helmet, they belong actually together. But ski mask is to 95% rather informational intended, and ski helmet is 81% rather transactional intended. So if you make a transactional piece for helmet and they do the checkout, you can actually, before they leave the checkout, you can say, hey, here are the top rated ski masks fitting to your helmet, or full face ski mask which perfectly fits to your helmet. Which ski marks to combine with your helmet, and so on and so forth. And you can do it vice versa as well. So if you have rather an informational piece of content about ski masks, you can also put conversion triggers in there where you try to trigger for upsell on helmets. Third, inventory and category management. Break outdated patterns. This is actually my famous part of this presentation. So what you actually should do is manage your inventory based on seasonality. And if you look at this table, you see Q1, 2, 3, 4, and here are the keyword clusters. And you see you see actually when the search volume of a specific cluster is the highest. So I tell you a story now about this sports brand. They removed the skiing articles in December from the sales floors and from the website, from the e-commerce websites. This data, but this data actually showed that there's still 90% of the search volume throughout Q1. So what they actually now did is they extended the sales cycle of the skiing articles from Q4 to Q1 and made more revenue. Another story is the sports brand is producing rugby shoes. And they were always producing it and publishing it, or went to market with this rugby shoe in September. But our data actually showed that the highest search volume is in May. So what they changed is the production cycle from September to May and made more revenue on the rugby shoe category. You also have to prioritize your entire marketing campaigns based on intent. What I mean with that is, like, if you work in e-commerce, you're working a lot with homepage campaigns, with newsletters, with other nurturing channels which you are sending out to your clients, right? So, and if you look at this data now, you know that for ski helmets or for ski jackets, you can rather put transactional conversion trigger on the homepage. But if you want to advertise suits or trousers, you rather put some informational content in your newsletter or on your homepage, and rather redirect to a blog than to a listing or product detail page. But don't just look at the short-term seasonality. That's what we actually always do, right? So we look at skiing footwear, and then we look at the seasonality in this, like this. So we know that in Q1 and Q4 are the highest search volumes. And also, when we just look at Google Trends, it's actually wrong because it just shows you abnormalities in the search behavior. But if you look at the data from this market research report, then you could actually should make sure that you update your warehouse based on real demand, and the report will show you how. So definitely update your skiing stock, because the search volume is massively growing throughout the last years. But you actually can get rid of your Zamba apparel because the search volume is decreasing. So this is how you actually can manage your warehouse. If you have a lot of yoga stock or Zumba stock, you should get rid of it and make a sales campaign out of it. Also, you can concentrate on both running apparel and footwear because both sectors are actually have an increasing demand in search volume. You still with me? Yes. So for this media strategy, we often work with partners, and we often look out for partners we can, partner with. If we know what your competitors are, if you look at a specific keyword set for your products, these are your competitors. These are retailers who are already selling your products. But you can also look at the data in a way that you come up with uncovered retailers and look at the share of voice, what the share of their voice is, at the traffic index, what actually that, how much traffic you potentially get. And sometimes you meet somebody on the expo and you really like this guy, and then you partner with him. And this is maybe this one here, Roosevelt, but the traffic index is really low. And then you actually come in contact with somebody from bodybuilding.com who has a higher traffic index potential, and the potential that your products are getting sold more on their website is much higher than with this guy you just met on the expo. And also, because you have to seed, like if you work in marketing and e-commerce, you're seeding a lot of your content to other partners. And if you look at the keywords and the share of voice just informational websites have, then you actually can pick up the telephone and say, hey, runnersworld.com, I have an amazing piece of content, would you publish it? You can also use magazines then for brand awareness if you look at the intent data here. So for yoga clothes, you should definitely go with websites which have no shopping cart. And for something which is rather transactional, you go with all those partners which have a shopping cart, but you are not selling something on yet. And also, we are tending to spread everything on every social media channel which is out there. But if you just look at the data and see what social media platforms actually come up for that specific keywords, then you know which one you should focus on. And a last advice is that you should start advertising for yoga as the market is growing 13% by a decreasing CPC. So this is the report. So how does it impact your business? Search demand data creates a larger sample, and you actually get, with this data, executive attention. You have a direct sales impact, influence the production roadmap, and manage warehouse stock. But you need to get out of your silo and engage with executives, strategic marketing, business leaders, and portfolio managers. And then you get actually access to the whole iceberg rather than just the tip of the iceberg. Any questions? If you have follow-up questions, our booth is just there, so down this way, and then we can talk about specific things that you want. Thank you very much.